Before we get started, if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button and like this video.
Welcome back. It's great to continue our exploration of the world of private placement memorandums.
I'm excited to dive back in. We laid the groundwork, understanding what a PPM is and why it's so crucial for raising capital. Now I'm eager to get into the nitty-gritty of crafting a PPM that truly stands out and captivates investors.
Absolutely. It's one thing to know those basic components, but it's another to truly master the art of storytelling, the persuasion that makes a PPM truly effective.
Exactly. So let's start with that all-important first impression, the executive summary. What are the key elements that make this section truly shine?
Remember, this is your elevator pitch.
Uh-huh.
You need to hook that investor in those first few sentences. Start by clearly and concisely stating your company's mission and the problem that you're solving.
So right from the start, we're establishing the why behind the business. It's not just about what you do, but why it matters.
Exactly. And then you quickly want to highlight your solution, your unique approach, and why you're positioned to win in the market.
So you're painting a picture of the opportunity and showcasing your competitive advantage. What else is essential in this section?
Don't forget to highlight your team's expertise and experience.
Right.
Investors want to know that there's a capable and passionate team at the helm.
It's about building that trust and credibility right from the start.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got the problem, the solution, the team, and the opportunity. What else needs to be included in the executive summary?
You'll also want to briefly touch upon your financial projections and the potential return on investment for investors. Remember, this is just a teaser, so you don't need to go into too much detail. But you do want to give them a glimpse of that potential upside.
It's like giving them a taste of the feast to come.
Yeah.
Okay, so the executive summary sets the stage. What comes next?
We move on to the offering terms.
Okay.
This section needs to be crystal clear and straightforward. You'll state the amount of capital you're seeking to raise, the type of securities you're offering, and the minimum investment amount.
So we're laying out the nuts and bolts of the investment opportunity.
Precisely. You also want to outline the terms of the offering, such as the price per security, the closing date, and any other relevant details.
So it's all about providing transparency and clarity for potential investors. What comes after we've outlined the offering terms?
Next, we dive into the company and management section.
Okay.
Remember, investors are betting on people as much as they're betting on the idea itself.
Right.
This is your chance to really showcase the talent and experience of your team.
It's about highlighting the human element behind the business. What are some key elements to include in this section?
Start by providing detailed biographies of your key team members, emphasizing their relevant experience, skills, and track record.
So we're not just listing their credentials, we're telling their stories, highlighting what makes them uniquely qualified to lead this company.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to showcase their passion and commitment to the business.
Right.
Investors are drawn to people who genuinely believe in what they're doing.
Okay, so we've introduced the team. What else should be included in this section?
You also want to provide an overview of your company's history, its legal structure, and its ownership structure.
Okay.
This provides investors with context and transparency about your company's foundation.
It's all about building that trust and confidence. Now, after we've introduced the company and the team behind it, what's next?
We move on to the use of proceeds. This section is all about demonstrating a clear and strategic plan for how you'll utilize the capital you raise.
It's about showing investors that their investment will be put to work to fuel growth and create value.
Exactly. Be specific and transparent about how those funds will be allocated. Will you invest in research and development?
Yeah.
Sales and marketing?
Yeah.
Expanding to new markets? Acquiring other companies?
Right.
Outline your priorities and the anticipated impact of each investment.
So we're not just asking for money, we're presenting a roadmap for how that money will be used to achieve specific goals.
Precisely. A well-crafted use of proceeds section demonstrates that strategic thinking and a commitment to maximizing the value of the investment.
This is where you really showcase your vision for the future of the company.
Yes.
Okay, so we've outlined the use of funds. What comes next?
Next, we dive deep into the business section.
Okay.
This is where you paint that vivid picture of your company's operations, its target market, its competitive landscape, and its growth strategy.
So this is where we really flesh out the story of the business, right?
Yeah.
We're providing investors with a comprehensive understanding of what the company does, who it serves, and where it's headed.
Exactly. Start by describing your products or services in detail, highlighting those key features and benefits.
Okay.
Then define your target market, explaining who your ideal customers are, their needs, and how you're reaching them.
So we're painting a picture of the customer and the value proposition we're offering.
Precisely. And don't forget to analyze your competitive landscape. Identify your key competitors, their strengths and weaknesses, and how you differentiate yourself in the market.
This is where you really showcase your understanding of the market and your ability to position your company for success. What comes after we've analyzed the competitive landscape?
The next step is to outline your growth strategy, explaining how you plan to scale your business and capture a larger share of the market.
This is where you demonstrate your vision and ambition.
Yeah.
What are some key elements to include in a growth strategy?
You might discuss your plans for product development, geographic expansion, strategic partnerships, or even acquisitions. The key is to demonstrate a clear and actionable plan for achieving sustainable growth.
So we're not just talking about growth, we're talking about how we're going to achieve it.
Exactly. A well-defined growth strategy gives investors confidence that you're thinking long-term and that you have that roadmap for success.
This is where you really bring the story of the business to life.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the company's operations, its target market, its competitive landscape, and its growth strategy.
Yeah.
What else needs to be included in the business section?
You'll also want to discuss any intellectual property you own, such as patents, trademarks, or copyrights. This demonstrates the value and defensibility of your innovations.
So we're showcasing the assets that set us apart from the competition. What about the regulatory landscape?
Yeah.
Is that something we need to address in this section?
Absolutely. You'll want to discuss any relevant regulations or compliance requirements that impact your business. This demonstrates transparency and a commitment to operating ethically and responsibly.
This is all about building trust and confidence with potential investors.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in the business section. We've painted a detailed picture of the company, its market, its competitive landscape, its growth strategy, and its intellectual property and regulatory environment. What comes next?
Now we move on to the financial information section. This is where we provide those potential investors with the hard data that backs up our projections and demonstrates our financial health.
This is where the numbers come into play.
Exactly. You'll need to include your company's historical financial statements, including your income statement, your balance sheet, and your cash flow statement.
So we're showing investors where we've been financially and how we've performed in the past. What about projections for the future?
Yeah, you'll also need to include financial projections for the next few years, outlining your anticipated revenue, expenses, and profitability.
So we're showing investors where we're headed financially and what we believe we can achieve. What's important to keep in mind when preparing these financial projections?
Honesty and accuracy are paramount here. You want to present a realistic and achievable picture of your financial future backed by those sound assumptions and data.
No pie-in-the-sky numbers here. We need to be grounded in reality.
Exactly. Investors are savvy. They can spot inflated projections a mile away.
It's about building trust through transparency and a data-driven approach.
Precisely. A solid financial track record and realistic projections go a long way in convincing those investors that your company is a worthy investment.
This is all making a lot of sense. So we've covered the executive summary, the offering terms, the company and management, the use of proceeds, the business, and the financial information. We've painted a comprehensive picture of the company, its opportunities, and its financial health. What's left to cover?
Now we need to address the elephant in the room.
Okay.
No investment is without risk, and it's crucial to be upfront about the potential challenges your business might face.
Right.
That's where the risk factor section comes in.
This is where things can get a little scary. Investors are looking for reasons to say yes, but this section is all about highlighting the potential reasons they might say no.
You're right, it can feel a bit counterintuitive.
Yeah.
But remember, transparency builds trust. Investors appreciate honesty, and they're more likely to trust a company that openly acknowledges those potential risks than one that tries to sweep them under the rug.
It's about managing expectations and demonstrating that you've thought through the potential downsides as well as the upsides.
Exactly. So what are some of the common risk factors that companies might include in their PPM?
That's a great question. I'm sure it varies depending on the industry and the specific business model.
You're absolutely right. Risk factors are highly specific to each company and its circumstances. but some common categories include competition, market fluctuations, regulatory changes, technological disruptions, reliance on key personnel, and even potential global events like pandemics or economic downturns.
So we need to tailor the risk factors section to reflect the unique challenges our business might face.
Exactly. A tech startup might highlight the risk of rapid technological obsolescence, while a retail company might focus on the risk of changing consumer preferences or supply chain disruptions.
And it's not just about listing the risks, it's about explaining how you're mitigating those risks.
You got it. For each risk factor you identify, you should outline the steps you're taking to minimize its potential impact.
Right.
This demonstrates a proactive approach to risk management and gives investors confidence that you're prepared for potential challenges.
So it's about turning a potential weakness into a strength.
Exactly.
It's about showcasing your ability to navigate uncertainty and emerge stronger.
Precisely. That risk factor section isn't about scaring investors away.
Right.
It's about demonstrating a realistic and comprehensive understanding of your business and those challenges you might face.
It's about building trust through transparency
Yep.
and showcasing your ability to manage and mitigate risk.
Yes.
Okay, so we've covered the risk factors.
Yeah.
What comes next?
Next, we move on to the subscription procedures.
Okay.
This section outlines those practical steps involved in investing in your company.
So this is the how-to guide for investors who are ready to take the plunge.
Exactly. You'll explain how to subscribe for securities,
Yeah.
the minimum investment amount, the payment methods accepted, and the closing date of the offering.
It's about making the investment process as smooth and straightforward as possible.
Precisely. You want to remove any barriers to entry and make it easy for investors to say yes.
This is where clarity and simplicity are paramount.
Yes.
Okay, so we've outlined the subscription procedures. What comes next?
The final section of the PPM is the exhibits.
Okay.
This is where you include all of that supporting documentation that backs up the information presented throughout the PPM.
So this is where we provide the evidence to support our claims. It's all about transparency and due diligence.
Exactly. Those exhibits might include your company's articles of incorporation, bylaws, financial statements, intellectual property agreements, and any other relevant legal or financial documents.
It's about providing investors with access to all the information they need to make an informed decision.
Precisely. A well-structured PPM, complete with those comprehensive exhibits, demonstrates a commitment to transparency and instills confidence in those potential investors.
This has been incredibly insightful. Thanks for walking us through each section of the PPM and highlighting the key elements that make each section compelling and persuasive. It's clear that crafting a PPM is a meticulous process that requires careful planning, strategic thinking, and a deep understanding of your business and the investment landscape.
You're absolutely right. It's not a task to be taken lightly. But with the right approach and the right team, a PPM can be a powerful tool for attracting investors and achieving your fundraising goals.
It's the foundation for a successful fundraising journey.
Absolutely.
Now, before we move on to the next part of our conversation, I want to circle back to something we discussed earlier. The importance of building a strong team to support your fundraising efforts.
That's a crucial point. You're not in this alone. Surround yourself with experienced professionals who can guide you through the process and provide valuable insights and support.
Absolutely. This might include legal counsels specializing in securities law, investment bankers, accountants, even marketing and communications experts.
Each member of your team brings that unique expertise to the table, ensuring that you're covering all your bases and maximizing your chances of success.
It's like assembling an all-star team for your fundraising campaign.
Yeah.
Now, I know we've talked a lot about the PPM itself, but I'm also curious about what happens after you've shared the PPM with potential investors.
Right.
What are the next steps in the process?
Sharing the PPM, that's just the beginning of the conversation. You want to follow up with those potential investors, answer any questions they may have, and address any concerns.
So it's about building relationships and engaging in a dialogue.
Exactly. It's not just about broadcasting information. It's about having that conversation and creating a connection.
And during those conversations, we'll likely get into the specifics of the due diligence process, right?
Absolutely. Investors will want to dig deeper into your company's financials, its operations, its market opportunity, and its team.
Huh?
They'll want to verify the information presented in the PPM and conduct their own independent research.
So it's about being prepared to provide additional information and answer those tough questions.
Exactly. The due diligence process can be rigorous, but it's an essential part of building trust and ensuring that both parties are comfortable moving forward.
It's about demonstrating transparency and a willingness to engage in that open and honest dialogue.
Precisely. A successful due diligence process is a win-win for both the company and the investor.
It lays the foundation for a strong and mutually beneficial partnership.
Absolutely.
This has been incredibly insightful. Thanks for guiding us through the entire process, from crafting a compelling PPM to navigating that due diligence process. It's clear that raising capital with a PPM is a complex but rewarding journey that requires careful planning, strategic thinking, and a lot of hard work.
You're absolutely right. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge worth embracing.
Yeah.
With the right approach and the right team, you can turn those entrepreneurial dreams into reality.
And speaking of turning dreams into reality, let's not forget about the incredible power of business credit.
Oh, absolutely.
It can be a game changer for entrepreneurs looking for alternative financing options or ways to stretch their capital further.
Yeah. Business credit can open doors to those amazing opportunities, especially when it comes to accessing those 0% interest credit cards for things like down payments, inventory, even covering payroll expenses.
Exactly. It can give you that extra financial flexibility to fuel your growth without diluting your equity.
I'm glad you brought that up. It's such a valuable tool that every entrepreneur should be aware of.
If you're interested in learning more about building business credit and taking advantage of these amazing opportunities, I highly recommend checking out fixflipcredit.com.
Great resource.
They have the best business credit mastery program online, and it could be the key to unlocking your financial freedom as an entrepreneur.
It's a great resource for anyone looking to take control of their finances and build a solid foundation for their business.
All right, that wraps up this part of our conversation about raising capital with a PPM. We've explored the essential elements of each section and highlighted the importance of transparency, due diligence, and building a strong team to support your fundraising efforts. In the final part of our conversation, we'll delve into some advanced strategies for crafting a truly compelling and persuasive PPM that will capture the attention of investors and help you achieve your fundraising goals.
I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a fascinating exploration of the nuances of storytelling, persuasion, and the art of crafting a winning PPM.
Until then, keep those entrepreneurial spirits high, and we'll see you back here soon for the grand finale. If you found this information helpful, hit that subscribe button and like this video.